It's over 9,000!
Welcome, everyone, to Final Forum, our more casual version of the show. I am Jelly.
And this is the Bekinney.
And yeah, like I said, this is our more casual version. We started doing this with Daima. Did we do like 5 episodes at a time?
Yeah, I think it
Daima?
was something like that. Because it ended up being, what was it, 20 episodes total?
20 exactly. Yeah, and we did like 4.
Chunks
we did like
of 5,
4
I think.
Daima discussions. And we started doing this with that, and I want to keep it going for a few reasons. One is to be able to respond to any like questions or feedback or things like that in a more timely manner, because we typically record our stuff very ahead of time because we have jobs, unfortunately.
We sometimes do research, believe it or not.
Yes, we have jobs, unfortunately, and we like to be well prepped for our episodes, so we can't always stick to a super consistent recording schedule. So that's why we can't really always respond very timely on feedback to episodes, I guess, or within our normal episodes. Another reason is just to, break from format a little bit so that there's a different variety for people to listen to. And then a third reason is our show, we tend to do, hey, let's go back and look at Dragon Ball from the beginning, and we will eventually catch up to now, I think, like
At some point in the next decade, probably.
Yes. So this gives us our opportunity to talk about things that are happening now versus things that happened 30 years ago. So we're in a post-Daima world for Dragon Ball. Daima has ended, and in fact, our dub-only friends have also caught up to us at this point. The dub of Daima finished, I think it was like only a week ago at this point.
Okay.
I saw a fairly new influx of people finally getting the like Vegeta shower moment and
I've also started to see like reaction videos started popping up on YouTube, so that's also kind of how I knew that it was reaching its end.
Right, it was like the second wave of reaction videos and memes and social media posts that you'd see of people reacting to the finale. That was really how I knew, because I didn't want to watch the dub on a week-to-week basis. I already did the show that way when it came out subtitled.
Yeah.
I haven't rewatched it yet, but I want to watch the dub like bigger chunks. I don't want to say in one go, because I doubt I'll be able to sit down for, I think it's like comes out to about like 6 consecutive hours.
Yeah, that might be a little much.
I don't think I'll have that kind of time, but in 90-minute or 2-hour chunks to kind of go through the show a little bit faster, I want to do that. But I've been waiting for the dub to do that because slightly different experience.
Sure.
And I'm very curious
to
then
and I
check
think
out.
it also makes the second watch a little easier too, because you don't quite have to focus on it as much.
Right. And then I'm also very curious to hear this dub cast, because this is all, like, aside from when they're in their adult forms, I think the kid forms are mostly new talent, with the one exception being Stephanie Nadolny returning as the voice of Kid Goku.
All right. Well, I mean, that definitely ups my interest in it. I'm always eager to hear work of new actors, especially voice actors.
Yeah, I'm curious the type of spin that gets put on like a baby Vegeta,
Or even like where do these kids take these characters, having grown up with the first generation?
Right. A young Piccolo. Very interesting, since we had what in the anime we get roughly like 2 or 3 lines total of a young Piccolo,
Which is a
right?
little bit of a wasted opportunity, but hey, choices are made.
There's like no baby Piccolo in the manga. We just see him like for 1 second. like one panel, and it's like here's evil baby Piccolo, and then fast forward, is it 3 years again to the next
Yeah,
Tenkaichi Budokai?
I think it was 3.
And he's a grown man, which that's that like meme that goes around of like whenever Piccolo is like mean to Gohan, he's like, I'm only 5, and Piccolo's like, so what? I'm only 8. Like,
Yeah.
but so yeah, that's kind of where Dragon Ball kind of is we're post Daima, we're kind of waiting to see what the next anime or even manga project will be at this point, because the super manga has been on hiatus since the passing of Akira Toriyama. They finished off the superhero arc, and the manga has been on hiatus ever since. There was a special bonus chapter that came out recently. I didn't read it just because I figure once I don't know, once I buy the volume of the superhero stuff, like once I buy the actual paperbacks that come out,
Tankobon
and
or whatever.
yeah, I don't know, what do they call those? Do they still call those just tankobon like
I
when you buy the US version?
I don't know if that's what they call the US version, but that's just kind of like the placeholder that's in my head for those little like
Yeah,
paperback books.
yeah. Once I do that, I'll revisit the whole superhero little arc in manga form, and then I'll read the special chapter kind of along with it. But that's it. That's like we had a special bonus chapter that I think was just like detailing what Goten and Trunks are up to in the superhero portion of the story. So we haven't progressed past that. The last things that the manga still needs to, I guess you would say, maybe finish would be its big tease of Black Frieza having demolished both Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta in like one punch, and then saying, I've got bigger fish to fry, and flying off. Like that's where the manga last left us.
That's a pretty big mic drop too, honestly.
Yeah. And we've been waiting a year, and the super manga runs very, very differently, even when it was regularly running, than the Toriyama version of the manga, right? Toriyama was published in Weekly Shonen Jump. The super manga has been published in V Jump, which is a monthly publication. So when Toyotaru has made like promises about arcs coming to their conclusion, that means there's still usually like a year left in the arc sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So things have felt very long sometimes in Super, but when you read them collected, they don't seem as long. But it's just a function of you're only getting one chapter a month instead of 4. So yeah, that's like the state. The other big thing in Dragon Ball is video games, and I'm not much of a video gamer these days, especially. The microtransactions of it all, the season passes of it all, the like.
And that's
Uh,
not taking into account like the prices have been going up.
right. It would be like it's largely because I don't have a ton of time for gaming, and that's really what it boils down to. If I knew that I was paying 60, even $80 for a game, and like I could just totally play it at my leisure and play through 100% of it at that $80 at my leisure, I would do it. But video gaming today is designed to get you playing every single day so that you can be excited about the new season pass, about the new DLC, and that you will download the new DLC, and that you will play online with everyone and be as obsessed as everyone else and be as good as everyone else. And then like my sorry ass wades into these online gaming lobbies once every year, and I get like just trounced so bad.
Oh yeah, because you're playing against a bunch of sugared up 12-year-olds that have grown up on this stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's just hard to compete at that point.
But I know in the video game world, Dragon Ball has kind of a lot that's ongoing. The Breakers gets new stuff added to it regularly, and the people who play the Breakers are generally pretty positive about it, and I can see the appeal, I'll say.
Sure. Yeah, it's a fun little like almost like hide and go seek variant, if you will.
Yeah. And
Which I
then
mean that's a timeless classic for a reason.
Xenoverse 2 is like still getting DLC added to it, which Xenoverse 2 is, I feel like that's an old game. Let me look it up. If I had to guess, I'd say it's like over 10 years old, and in fact, I look it up and it's actually not quite 10 years old.
Almost 10 years old.
It's almost 10 years old, which for a video game to have a life that long is kind of incredible these days.
It's not bad, yeah. And also for something like a Dragon Ball, which typically doesn't have like a huge presence in video games, is pretty respectable in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like, yeah, you think of Dragon Ball games. I mean, at least I do. I think of Dragon Ball games as being fairly disposable is maybe the word I would use in lieu of a better word coming to my mind right now. Like it is, you pick it up, you play it, it's a fighting game, you fight through it, and then okay, well, let's wait for the next one with a different roster and maybe more moves or something, you know?
It does seem to have a bit of like a consumerist slant to it, like it's just sort of made to get you to spend dollars on it.
Right. So for
Um,
one of them to last 10 years is that's pretty incredible.
they've also got Fighters,
Fighters has like new.
which is I think 2 years more recent than that one, and is still
Yes.
fairly popular, especially at like the tournament scene. I've heard is pretty good. I'm not really up on those things, but I've heard it's been pretty good.
Right. And Kakarott is still going. Kakarott, Dragon Ball Z Kakarott is still getting content DLC. I think it's getting like Daima stuff added to it, as well as Sparking Zero. Also, still getting Daima stuff added to it. I know Sparking Zero is like the newest of the new, but it's weird. As someone who does not game very much, I've already prefaced that, but I just want to make sure I really put it out there. I feel like there's those are like the 4 Dragon Ball games that are currently being supported: Kakarot, Sparking Zero, Breakers, and Xenoverse 2. And
Mm-hmm.
of them, it feels to me like Kakarot is the one that has like the strongest, like people still play it, people still talk about it, people still get very excited about the new DLC. And then I might put Xenoverse next. I think I would put Sparking Zero last. I haven't heard anyone be like excited about the like Daima DLC coming for Sparking Zero.
I
Maybe
honestly
I'm
haven't
wrong, but
heard much about it, but again, I'm not really kind of in that wheelhouse as far as video games are, so
right.
I don't really know.
I only catch what catches our like Dragon Ball keyword feeds on our social
Mm-hmm.
media sites. So, but that again, I would think there's not like a whole bunch of coded Sparking Zero talk out there that
No,
like
I don't think so.
where people are speaking about Sparking Zero in ways that elude a Dragon Ball feed on social media.
Right.
So I don't see a lot of it. Again, though, like I'm not super involved in the space, and I do tend to just in general kind of scroll right by people talking about games because I don't really play any. I just don't
And
have the time
also
for it.
the internet's just kind of weird in general at this
Well,
point.
yeah.
You
Yes.
could swear something is fact, and then it turns out it's the algorithm just feeding you certain things.
Yes. Yes. And you could also very easily run across just bots talking to each other. That is the internet that we live in these days.
The dead internet theory, right? I think it is.
It's yeah, that's I don't know who coined it, but yes, that's the dead internet theory being that eventually everyone human will just not be on the internet anymore and it'll just be bots talking to each other. Fun stuff.
Certainly feels like we're headed in that direction. He says into his microphone that they distribute on said internet.
Yeah. Let's disparage our entire medium.
Well, this is the more laid back, casual episode, right?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's where Dragon Ball is we are done for the moment with any movies or shows. We are in a hiatus on the manga, and the games are still kind of going. I think I'll say going strong. When you have 4 different games that are being regularly patched, updated, given new content, and supported, I think I'll say that's going strong.
I'll agree with you. I think that's a pretty good assessment.
One of the issues I know, and I haven't dug too deep into it because it's like one of those things where can't do anything about it in any way. So I don't know. It's just I haven't gotten too deep into it. We talked a bit in like one of our Daima discussions. I think it might have been a Daima discussion. It might have been something else. We talked about Akio Ioku, the CEO or whatever, the founder of Capsule Corporation Tokyo, which
Oh,
is
okay, yeah.
a company whose stated purpose is to manage the production of Toriyama's works, which then obviously conflicts with what Toei and Shueisha feel about their claims to Toriyama's works. And that is I don't know if there's like been actual legal battles yet or if we're still prepping towards legal battles basically.
My
But
guess would be that they're probably using arbitration to keep it out of the courts and thus out of the news to try and prevent any kind of bad press one way or the other. That'd be my guess, though.
yeah, so there's not a whole lot that's known about that. I'm sure you could probably find a good summary rundown on a place like Kanzenshu or maybe even Geekdom 101. His YouTube probably has a pretty good breakdown of everything that's going on or everything that's known at this point. But that's sort of if you were expecting to like hear about the next project as soon as Daima was done, we're in a weird holding pattern, which is extra weird and very like unfortunate, I guess. I don't know. It depends on how you interpret the situation a little bit. But Dragon Ball was Bandai Namco's top earner last year. It outpaced
Oh,
One Piece, actually. Largely, I'm sure, due to the video game space. In fact, I think if you like look up the numbers, One Piece outsold Dragon Ball for like toys and physical merch, but Dragon Ball outsold One Piece for digital by like a lot. So it was the video game piece.
yeah. I
But
was about to
still,
say, are there even One Piece video games? I'm sure there probably are, and I just don't know it. But
and they're
not
probably
any I've
just like
heard of.
smaller. Yeah. I mean, there's
Maybe. Yeah.
probably there's a mobile game for everything now, you know.
That is true. I didn't think of that angle.
But so yeah, that's where like I don't know what the next project is going to be. I don't know what the next project that's going to be announced is because we're in like kind of a legal battle between a person who says that he has the rights and responsibilities to continue Toriyama's work and a couple companies who say they do. And it's
It's probably not going to be any movement on anything until that decision is finally made.
right. Anything new,
Yeah.
you know, could the super manga still I would think the super manga could still come back separate from that situation being resolved because it was like already in production, I would think.
Well, yeah, and I think there's probably like contracts with the publisher and all that stuff as well.
Right. And the same with the games obviously are still just soldiering forward because they were already in production and everything. But any new season of Super or anything like that, any new movies, any of that kind of stuff, I don't know.
No, no new Daima.
Oh no.
And the crowd goes mild.
Yeah. Response to Daima has been, I think, similar to I think Daima response was basically what ours was. It was like mildly
It gets
positive.
yeah, it's positive, but it gets messy at the end.
It's like positive, but not overly enthusiastic. Like, oh, that was
Yeah,
fun.
that's pretty
Okay.
succinct. I like that. That's good.
So, and that's what I feel like general reception to Daima has been. So, with that all said, current state pretty well summarized. What what do you think you would like to see for the future? And let's go with both. Give me something that you would like to see that you think is like fairly realistic in
Okay.
terms of happening, and like your like forget about budgets, forget about rights issues, forget about whether it would sell, anything like that. Just your like, hey, this is what I personally really want.
Okay. I think if the thing that's fairly possible to happen would be that if the response for Daima remains somewhat positive, I think there's a chance there that they might continue other like weird spin-offs for Dragon Ball because it's you don't have to commit to anything more than like a season, and you're kind of open-ended on the production end on what should be possible. All you have to do is find a point in time in Dragon Ball where you could fit it in. Probably would be fairly low cost, but pretty good return, especially if you can still manage to churn out more positively received stuff.
Okay.
As for if it wasn't restricted by budgets or IP laws or anything like that, mine actually wouldn't be. I don't even think this would even really be outside of the realm of possibility. I think it actually could be fairly likely. But I'd like to see kind of a return to like the Matsuri films,
Oh, okay.
where like we're getting like a yearly 90-minute Dragon Ball movie or every couple
Okay.
years or whatever. Because like I think back like of the things that have come out for Dragon Ball in recent years or recent-ish years. I realize I've probably got a few more on this planet than some folks. Um, but like the movies, like the Broly movie, the Resurrection F movie, Battle of Gods, stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I thought those were pretty fun, and I took every opportunity I had to be able to go and see them in the theater, and if I couldn't do that, I tried to at least follow it up with like some kind of stream or rental or something, just to kind of incentivize that to keep happening. Because I really enjoy them. I think they're great. I think they're very easy on the eyes. They're absolutely gorgeous animation, and then they're relatively low stakes. Like everything's wrapped up by the end of the movie. No muss, no fuss. You just to get to go in, watch a couple of dudes slug it out for 90 minutes, and that's it. You're done.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that we haven't heard any, like, even just a hey, there will, like, I don't want to phrase this. I would have thought, with how generally positive the reception was to Superhero, and actually it made a ton of money, that
Yeah.
they would have jumped on it right away, right when it, like, in the immediate fallout of it having come out, and been like, oh, by the way, there's gonna be a new one in 2026 or 2027.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that, and I'm a little surprised, because yes, those have been good, well received. They've made a lot of money. It seems like, why not
And
do
on
one
top,
every 3 or 4 years?
you've even still got buy-in from folks. Like people love the new Broly. Like they
Yeah,
legitimately liked all of the characters that movie added.
right.
Like and then that's you're talking about like merchandising opportunities. Like it really does like beggar the question, like why didn't you guys keep doing this?
Right. I mean, the there's the obvious answer of like Toriyama passing, but it still seems like there would have been one
Yeah, I mean, like I can see not
well
releasing
underway.
stuff due to his passing and out of respect and all that stuff. What I
Yeah.
mean more is like, even if it was just like, hey, it's like it's in the pipeline, like we're not going to do it now because it'd be in poor taste, but like it's in the pipeline or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So I'll say for me on my like realistic, what I would like is super manga to come back and be finished. I would like it to wrap up. I think we've had more than enough time in this interstitial space between the end of the Boo fight and the actual end of Z. That's where Super is thus far entirely set.
Mm-hmm.
A lot happening during those so-called years of peace.
Yeah, it was peaceful for everyone else, not for them.
Right. Yeah, the planet only got blown up once, so I guess.
And nobody remembers it. It's not. It's fine.
And also the Arctic got turned into like a molten lava zone.
Oh right, that yeah. It's
Like
just that natural disasters on those scales in that world happen so often that I would imagine at that point most people are just used to it.
it's like how in the MCU supposedly right now there's like a giant hand and head sticking out of the side of the earth and no one ever talks about it.
What do you mean? They just had the movie there where they were fighting over dead alien giant body
What
for
one
resources.
was that the Captain America one?
Yeah, that was the new
Or-
Captain
I,
America.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't either. I
Put
read the
in.
cliff notes on it. I'll tell you
So
what I am looking forward to though is the new Superman movie. Sorry, not to
I'm
sidetrack.
oh no, I mean that's what yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic on that. I don't know.
I feel like he's got a good feel for at least in my head, like the character that I think of when I think of Superman.
Yes. I so that's I agree. Like I think I have this weird feeling that I'm gonna go in and come out and like I have this weird feeling it's gonna be like a 2.5 hour long movie. I don't know if that maybe they've already announced how long it is and it's not that long or it's even longer. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this feeling it's gonna be a 2.5 hour long movie. And I'm gonna walk out being like, there's a really good 2 hour Superman movie in there, and all that half hour of like setting up this universe, I could give a.
I hear you. Okay.
That's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm.
Okay. That's not unreasonable, I don't think, especially given the state of things.
I'm so burned out on this on the
Yeah.
cinematic universe idea. Like, anyways, so yes, bring back the super manga and like finish the story of it, and then season 2 of Super and animate it. Those are my two like big wish list things in terms of what I want for the future that I think are realistic and will probably happen sooner than I would think, like sooner than later, like within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, those are both
My
pretty solid asks in my opinion.
my big wish list, my big like money is no object type of thing is can we please go back and do an actual restoration of the anime that has been released thus far, clean it up, color correct it, put it out on Blu-ray with multiple language options, multiple music options, and give us a definitive home video release of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT. Super already looks pretty good on home video. So I'll just say those three.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna change my answer. I want that one too.
Because and you know what, while we're at it, let's go back and do similar for the manga. Let's go back and get rid of the censorship and maybe get us a more consistent translation, I'll say. we don't need a full retranslation, but it'd be nice to have consistency between how you've translated your manga and how you've chosen to translate your show. In terms of things like the name Krillin, or in the manga he's Krillin, like
Yeah.
and I know it's like Kudidin actually, but like that's how the manga does it, and the show says Krillin. Majin Buu is Majin Buu in the show, and he's I think the Jin Buu in the manga. Like, get yourself consistent,
Yeah, no, I get you.
and then also even just get yourself consistent within yourself. That first chapter, the first like volume of Z, all of a sudden Piccolo is speaking like very Shakespearean.
Right.
We talked about that, or like he's like, "Oh, know you now how Piccolo fear," and you're like, "What? Where did this
And he
come from?"
slowly loses it over time.
And he doesn't have it in the Dragon Ball portion, like in the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, and that's
Oh, yeah.
because of again, I think if I remember correctly, the manga was released similar to the show, where like they started with Z because that's what was popular. Um, so yeah, that's what I would like is a like a definitive home release of the stuff that Akira Toriyama like created. It doesn't feel like too tall of an ask, but I also know that in 2025 getting really good like home video stuff is not going to sell.
Yeah, everybody wants the stream stuff now.
Yeah. So, I've seen people say they would like to see the show like get a remake. Eh. You could do that. Do whatever you
You
want.
know what? I would accept that under one circumstance, and that is that you don't change any of the scenes. You don't change any of the like the choreography or anything like that. You try and keep it as close to the original as you can, and then it's basically just a visual upgrade. Like, I would accept that. I think that's fine.
Are you gonna say also though to like make it just be almost like 1-to-1 with the manga essentially?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, let's
Like
get some of
no
the filler
filler.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
I'd be
tighten the
okay
pacing
with
in a couple spots, maybe.
I'd be okay with that. Again, it's like do whatever you want as long as I can watch the originals the way they were meant to be watched.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I am with Star Wars too. I do as many special editions or whatever, run that franchise into the ground if you want, but I just want to be able to watch that original trilogy without it being effed up.
Yeah, I get you.
I just would like to watch Dragon Ball at home in 4:3 instead of cropped to 16:9 like that. Can we please move out of the dark ages?
That would be lovely.
And I know you can via fan restorations, but not what I'm not asking for a fan to restore this. I'm asking for Toei to like
Yeah,
fix
like
their own
guys, you
property.
we've given you so much money. Can you maybe invest just a little bit in something for us, please?
Yeah. So yeah, that's
We'd pay for it too on top of that.
exactly. Exactly. So that's our wish list. That's where we are. What else what do you got going on? It's been a while since we've done anything.
Oh golly. I got a new lawnmower. That's something
Oh,
that happened.
exciting
I know,
stuff.
just absolutely riveting. And I know you're probably asking, but Bekinney, why do you need a lawnmower in space? Shut up.
So that we could have tractor pulls, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course, that too. Also, I mean, you might land on a jungle planet, and maybe you need to set up a nice little spot for a tent or something. Don't judge me. Let me spend my
Exactly.
money how I want.
Exactly. Lawnmower,
What
you can get a
else?
lawnmower.
What else? What else? It's been pretty uneventful here for this
Hmm.
summer. We did White Wheel of Time. I watched third season of that. That was pretty decent.
Okay. Is that the one that just got
Uh,
canceled?
yeah, yes, actually, yes, I read that yesterday. It just got canceled, which really oh man, because it was just starting to get really good. Yeah, there was that, and then oh, there was a movie I just went to go see. Which one was it? Oh, Sinners. I went and saw Sinners. That was pretty
Okay.
good.
Sinners was awesome. Sinners was excellent. I liked Sinners a lot.
Oh,
Any
and
movie. Ooh,
Thunderbolts. That's the other one I went to go see.
I don't want to spoil Sinners, but any movie that ends with the specific type of bloodbath that Sinners ends with.
2 thumbs up in my book.
Yes, exactly. Uh but yeah, I thought Sinners was great. I loved the music in it. You know, Buffalo darling, Haley Steinfeld.
Yes.
For those not in the
Right.
know, which might be a significant portion of our listenership, Haley Steinfeld is dating Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen, and so
And
uh,
go
they are like
Bills.
the king and queen of the city, despite living in California.
That always tickles me. They're never here except during the season.
Yeah, but you know who wants to be in Buffalo in February? Like,
Oh, I mean, I'm not blaming them. That's the other half of that. I do not blame them in the slightest. Nah, you go enjoy your life and live it how you want, folks.
yes, you go live in SoCal while Buffalo is still waiting to see its first rays of sunshine in May. Uh,
We did okay today. I got to take the new lawnmower out, so not too
oh
bad
yeah,
so
see.
far.
But yeah, Sinners was great. How was Thunderbolts? Because I have like no interest.
Thunderbolts was reassuring to watch after the last few movies that have come out because it kind of got back to something a little bit more serious and something with a little bit of heart in it, as opposed to
Okay.
just jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cast and the characters that they portray played really well off of each other. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm a little disappointed that they didn't use Taskmaster better. I still feel like that's a character they could have done a lot of interesting stuff with, but they just don't want to do that for whatever reason.
I saw
But
today.
yeah,
Today I saw Friendship.
what is friendship?
Oh, you don't know what Friendship is? It's
No.
the new movie with Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson.
Okay, yes, I have heard about this. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I think you should leave the movie, basically.
Yes, 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 yes. How was
Um,
it?
it's kind of like I think you should leave the movie. It is a like darker. I don't want to use the word artsy, but like it's like a darker, more cinematically made version of like the Cable Guy.
Oh, okay.
Like that's the vibe.
Which I got to
That's
be
the
honest,
vibe.
like my biggest complaint about Cable Guy was that they didn't quite go dark enough for me.
This is like it's like a more miserable version of the Cable Guy.
Oh, okay.
So, so if you're into like fairly dark humor and Tim Robinson's special blend of just I literally cannot like I can't look at that guy and watch him deliver a line without finding it funny. Like
All right, no, that's
he
good. That's definitely bumped it up a few places on the list. Then I'll have to check it out.
he can't ever make a leap into like a dramatic role because he would be like, you know, on some rant and I would just start laughing. Like
It would be like that Lifetime movie that Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig made,
oh,
where they play it completely straight. It's a Lifetime movie, but you can't help but laugh at it because those two are the leads.
yes. Yes, that's like Tim Robinson is just he can't not be funny. Like he's incapable. So yeah, Friendship was really, really good and Sinners was really, really good. I saw that. We also like there's a lot going on over here and in my side of the spaceship.
For listeners that are curious, we did the situation with the tape down the middle of the ship. When half is mine, when half is his.
We got a dog over here and a brand new puppy. So we've been in the market for a bit, and the wife very explicitly wanted one that was non-shedding because my previous dog, we were just like it was just the two of us, and by two of us I mean my wife and I, and we got a dog, and we were able to be very good with the training and consistent. And so the dog was not allowed upstairs in the house, which is where like 90% of my carpeting in my entire house is upstairs. So we just never let the dog upstairs. Now I have two kids. Now there's two kids. There's no such thing as consistency. And so the dog.
You mean to tell me kids complicate everything? Get out of here.
Yeah. So like my wife was like, you think that like the dog won't be sleeping in the kids' beds eventually, and you really want them to like wake up with like beds filled with dog fur? And I was like, okay, fine, fair, very fair point. So we did get
kids love that.
So we did get a Spanish water dog is the brand, and the breed.
The brand. That's how I'm going to refer to him from now on.
But yeah, we got a Spanish water dog as the breed. That is a like when you let their hair, it looks like a doodle, but then when you let their hair actually grow out, they end up looking like those commodores. You know, the ones that like look like little mops. I'm very excited about that. I want to let this dog's hair grow out, and I want to have a little mop running around all the time. I'm alone in that. Nobody else wants that. But I think it'd be awesome.
He's just gonna have to keep pushing for it. That's all. Eventually,
we named
her right.
We named her Harley, so that's going on.
Oh, that's adorable.
And it works because our previous dog was Ivy, so Ivy and Harley.
Nice.
And then we've got swim season starting over here, so that's fun stuff. My son is pretty good, actually. Like he has a kid on his team who, when they were 8, was 5th in the state in that age group, which was like 8 and under. Now they're in the 9-10 age group, so they're swimming against kids that are 1 and sometimes 2 years older than him. That kid is, I don't know, no longer 5th in the state because he's in a new age group. But they're on the same team. And when we go to meets, typically people will come up to us and be like, my goal is to beat your son. Like people want to beat my kid because my kid comes in like 2nd and 3rd usually. And they're like, if I beat your kid, I'm having a good day. No one even aims to beat this other kid. And my son beat him in a 25 butterfly, so that was pretty awesome. It did not last, like, because that was like a couple of weeks ago. His parents are very like they swim literally every single day. They do swim practice every single day, and I guarantee that for the next week, that kid's life was like, you're gonna swim nothing but the fly. And so then he beat Max the next time they swam. But what are you gonna do? So we're in the throes.
Right? They're gonna keep chasing each other and making each other better.
Oh yeah, we're in the throes of swim season here. So it's like you wake up at 7 a.m. to go sit outside in Houston all day.
Nice.
What else is? Oh, if you are in the Houston area, I will be presenting at DreamCon on Saturday the 31st. I will be presenting a Dragon Ball Hidden History of the Tenkaichi Budokai at DreamCon. And I will also be presenting at Comic Palooza, I think on the 8th. I should probably double check the date on that. But let's double check that date real quick. Comic Palooza Houston. Oh, nope. It'll be like the 22nd. So not the 8th at all.
Good thing we checked that.
Yes, if you're in the Houston area, on Sunday the 22nd, and you want to see you want to see me again, I will be presenting Dragon Ball's Afterlife Explained at Comic Palooza in Houston. And I believe both events are at the George R. Brown Convention Center, which is downtown near the baseball stadium. So in the basketball arena. But not
Right
the
on.
football stadium. But not the football stadium. So that's going on. I got to put those presentations together. That's that needs to be done.
You've always got like half a dozen irons in the fire, man. It's impressive.
It's we're trying to get ourselves out there, right? And so
Yeah.
if you're in the Houston area and you're listening, stop by and say hi. Say, hey, I listened to the podcast, and I'll say, you're my hero.
He'll say it just like that too.
Speaking of heroes, I don't know if we've mentioned on this show that I've finished My Hero Academia, so that's another thing.
Oh, nice. Congrats. Is that I'm not sure. Is the anime all the way through the
The
ending?
anime will start its final season in October.
Oh, okay. So you're talking the manga then.
Yes, we've read the manga.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what changes the show might make.
My understanding is that they didn't change too much, or at least
I
nothing
wouldn't
up to this
change.
point.
I wouldn't change a whole lot of the actual plot or anything. I would just I hope they have like a longer and better denouement than what the manga had. That was
I get you.
my only real complaint was
Yeah,
that
because it's like I think it's the fight ends and then it's like 2 more chapters and then it's all done.
yeah, it's such a tough thing when you're a like basically a battle manga for young kids and you've got a more intricate and serious story. It's tough because how can you satisfactorily everything and tie up all your loose ends and do it in a way that's like that feels like you're giving it all of the due weight and time and emotion that you should, but still not bore children.
That is a
So I
tall
get that
order,
it's
that's for sure.
I get that it's a difficult balancing act, but the denouement of My Hero Academia could have just been longer is all I think. Just to kind of make
No,
some of the impacts.
I'd agree with that. To me, two chapters was a little short.
Yeah.
But again, I'm with you. I understand that there's like limitations, and my understanding is that Horikoshi's health has not been the greatest. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I think burnout actually.
Yeah,
Like overwork, which
I get
you
that.
know,
I respect that. So yeah, dude, take whatever time you need. It's cool.
yeah. Yeah. I would think that an anime could maybe do that, hopefully, just a smidge better. So that'd be my wish list for how the anime
They
ends
did
up
put
playing
up
out.
a movie on Netflix, I think, just recently. I just watched it
The
the other day.
was it what was it? Uh, You're Next?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I haven't watched that one yet.
It's exactly what we were talking about earlier. It's one of those like 90-minute movies where they kind of just sort of shoehorn it in here or there.
Cool.
So
So we got
it's
that.
a good
We got
fun
that
time.
going on. Oh, I also finished my Dark Tower reread.
Oh, congrats.
Oh, that seventh book is so sad. Oh, it's like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Multiple parts. Multiple parts of that seventh book. I was like, oh no. Oh no. Like, and this is the third
He,
time I've gone through the franchise or the series. So
uh,
like I knew it was
I think
coming.
what makes King probably one of my favorite writers is that he just has this really good ability to just make you feel for a character that he's writing about.
Mm-hmm. He he also he tends to be able to really tug on your heartstrings by giving characters that you really liked kind of unfair fates.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's even I wouldn't say so much with his main characters, but it's almost always whatever secondary character you like the best in one of his books
It's going to
has
meet some
something.
sort of horribly poetic end to you.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I finished that, and now I'm like trying to get caught up on King. So I just read Later, which is a hard case crime book, but it's weird. I wouldn't call that one so much of it. It's weird because I read Later and Holly, which is a Holly Gibney book. Holly Gibney is a character he introduced in Mr. Mercedes,
Okay.
and then was also in Finders Keepers, End of Watch, If It Bleeds, and The Outsider. And then she got her own book, kind of as like the main character in Holly, and then she's also going to be. I don't know if she's the main character. She might be in a book he's releasing this year called Never Flinch.
Okay.
It's weird because I read those two books, Later and Holly, like back to back. And Holly is like the hard-boiled, hard case crime novel, even though it's published under just his normal publishing label. And Later is more of like a ghost story, and it's published under the hard case crime label. So that was a little weird. That was a little weird to me, but it Later was interesting. It brought back. Do you remember it at the end of It? How they do the ritual of Chud, where they like lock tongues against the spider, and they battle the deadlights. Later had that happen in it. But not with it. It was just it had like it brought back that ritual of Chud thing, and Holly was good. Holly was about like you don't want spoilers in Holly. It's not a spoiler. It is a little bit. Whatever. It's about it's about two cannibals like capturing people and eating them and thinking that it gives them like restorative properties. Like, oh, if I eat the human brain, I'll be smarter. If I eat the liver, I'll be able to process my waste better.
Gotcha.
So those are the two new to me King books that I've read since finishing the Dark Tower series.
Nice.
I'm just waiting for my
last book of his I read was Under the Dome.
Oh, like he's published like 15 books since then.
Yeah, I know. I got catching up to do, man. I like every form of media that I enjoy.
He publishes a ton of books for a dude who says he's retired.
Right? Retired means you stop working, dude.
So that's what we got going on. That's just our little casual check-in. I don't know if I want to give a. Let me just pull up our Blue Sky real quick and give a couple shout outs to some of our more active as of late listeners and followers. I put up a thread about launch the other day, and that one actually got reskeeted a few times, and it got a smattering of likes. Jadra Dawn said a unique character concept. I was really hoping they'd find somewhere for her, even in Super's manga, which that could be a fun callback.
Yeah.
To see launch come back. And then I just posted today. Every Monday I post a random page from the manga, and today I just posted a random one from the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, and I said fit check. And Strange Sunshine said, I prefer the Turtle School gi without the blue shirt underneath. Okay. So that would be like the original Dragon Ball look, and it's kind of the more current look, isn't it?
Yeah, I think his current setup is without the undershirt, right?
Yeah, I think. That's like what I'm picturing in my brain. From like Super.
Yeah, it's got like the little, it's almost like a leaf where the Turtle School insignia on the front used to be or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Whis' like little squigglies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're up to date on Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah. I know things. So that's a couple fun things for everyone. A couple shout outs. And I never can remember if I end these the way we end every other episode.
Will Jelly end the episode like he always does?
I feel like I make that
out
joke
next time on Final Forum.
I feel like I make that joke every time too, like, and it's not
Well,
even
this
funny.
we wouldn't have this problem if we actually listened to our own episodes. That's the thing.
I listen to all of our episodes. It's just I also
We
listen to a
don't
lot of
retain 'em.
things. No, I don't retain any information.
Oh man.
Final Form is written and produced by Tom Gwelly. It is performed by Dan Kinney and Tom Gwelly. Our webmaster is Dan Kinney. Our theme music is provided by YouTube content creator GVG Kid. Want to learn more about the Dragon Ball universe, including concept art, behind-the-scenes interviews, and recommendations from Jelli and Bekinney? Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Final Forum Pod. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you receive your podcasts. And of course, make sure to share it with your friends and family and help us spread the word of the glory of Lord Frieza. The Frieza Force thanks you for your listenership.